Good day. It is Thursday, December 6, 2018. Thank you for coming by and watching this YouTube video. On After Tuesday's close of this week, when we saw some pretty amazing statistics for Tuesday's market, we put together an article for our website, and we will kind of abbreviate and hit some of the high points from that article today in this YouTube video. But what we talked about is where we are in the market cycle based on not only the top that has formed over the last really 2 years, and especially this year, but also what occurred on Tuesday when we had 14 times as much downside volume on Tuesday as upside volume. We had advancing volume was less than 300 million. Declining volume was 4.1 billion, 14 times as much declining as advancing volume. And the breadth was more than 2,000 net declines on that day. We went back and looked, because it is a very interesting point, at where in each of the past major important primary cycles that kind of sudden burst of selling, massive selling, occurred in the cycle. In 1929, that occurred on October 16, 1929, just before the complete collapse of some 35% just over the next few days, and the start of the 1930s depression. Then in 1973, we saw that same kind of burst of selling occur in late April, just before the market went into a tailspin. We show all this on the website. In 1987, that big burst of selling occurred on October 7, just before this meltdown of another 30% plus on the Dow Jones Industrial Average occurred over the next 4 days, a total crash of the market. Just before that was the massive selling pressure on the 7th of October. Then in 2001, the same thing occurred in middle of March 2001, just before the markets went into a total tailspin in 2001. You may remember what happened in 2001. Not the least of which, of course, was when the trade towers were brought down. But at any rate, in 2008, same thing occurred in January, just before the market went into a complete tailspin that took the market apart at the seams in 2008. Same thing occurred even in 2015, when we had a mini bear market that had formed a top over the first few months of 2015. Then we got a sudden burst of heavy volume selling, swamping upside volume, and here is what followed over the next 4 days, a total collapse of the market. We've got it again right now in 2018 through Tuesday's close. That's why we wrote about it and put it on our website to advise people that this was coming. This is now just one market day later, and you see what's happening. We're down some. At today's low, we were down 1,600 Dow points from Monday's close, and this is just the beginning, folks. We may bounce back a little bit in the very short term here, probably will. My very short-term indicators are turning up in here, but this is just the beginning of some important selling over the next few days and weeks. Just want to make you aware of that. It reminded me a little bit of a line from the movie Margin Call, which you may have seen, where the guys are driving around after they've gotten the signal that that the bond markets are coming apart and they've got to liquidate everything. And Peter Sullivan says, look at all these people wandering around with absolutely no idea about what's about to happen. And that's where we are now. Same kind of deal. If you go to the Seven Sentinels website, you don't need to log in. Just go down to the bottom of the page. There's a number of free articles there that explain this whole 2017-2018 top and the beginning of the bear market that's just now getting underway. Articles like Primary Bear Market is one, Rainmaker is another, Red Sky in the Morning is another, showing all the warning signs we had in 2017. When Worlds Collide is another, talks about how the primary bull market is hitting headlong into the beginning of a bear market. The worlds are, in fact, colliding like they did in 1999 and 2000. And another article we wrote just 2 weeks ago called Meet the New Boss, Same as the Old Boss. And it talks about how markets repeat over and over and over, and we are going through a repetitive process of those bear markets that we just talked about, although the bear is just barely beginning. There is also a limited time trial. Click on that. We put up especially today because we are at such a critical point. We really would like people to take advantage of this, get their trading accounts in gear with this new dynamic trend that is underway. And we want to make that as easy as possible for you by giving you a limited time trial of 17 days for just $9.95. And you can see for yourself what the Seven Sentinels website is all about and how it's going to help you trade successfully. So we hope you'll come by, take a look at the website, and if you'd like, try a limited time trial. Thank you very much for coming by and watching this video today, and we wish you great trading.